Well, as you just mentioned, yeah, I started dancing when I was 2 years old. I started choreographing, I don't know, somewhere in my early 20s. And when I left, after I graduated from college, I moved down to Atlanta. And as fate would have it, I literally just so happened to join Main Event Gym, which of course at the time was owned by Lex and Sting. I didn't know it was a wrestling gym. I knew nothing about wrestling. Like, that's not why I went to work out there. And I was a fitness instructor, I was a personal trainer. And so I quickly got involved with the gym because I was an aerobics instructor. And I just knew a lot of the people there. And so Kim and I met pretty early on, just literally by way of being in fitness. And that was it, right? And so I did fitness choreography for her. We became friends. So we definitely had, and she would tell me like, oh, my husband, I just meant nothing to me. I'm like, good for you guys. Yay. I just didn't realize what it was. And that was at the time they were filming in Orlando. Things were just kind of getting started. But how did I make my foray in there? When she knew that she had the opportunity to put this collective together of the Nitro girls, she had talked to me about it. I helped to conduct a series of different auditions. And when it kind of came down to it, she's like, well, I want you to be our choreographer. She's like, but I really need a blonde. And would you be willing to dye your hair? I was like, it's just hair, of course. Like, sure, no big deal. And so then Spice was kind of born in that moment. And we just jumped in drinking from the fire hose. I mean, because once it got greenlit, it happened very, very quickly. We had only 2 weeks to get ready for live television. And mind you, not everyone had been a professional dancer. So for a few that were just really more in the fitness realm, not that they didn't have the capability, but to have to go and perform on that level and learn choreography and take things in so quickly, it was a lot for everybody. And then we had to bond and figure out wrestling and come up with names and go out and all of a sudden not mess up on live national television. No pressure, none at all.
Mhm. Mm. No, considering how the ratings were at the time, record setting. Where did when this troupe was being put together, you touched on it in broad strokes. What was the Nitro Girl concept as it was sold to you at that very embryonic stage?
Uh, the way it was sold is it was kind of like that's when the Spice Girls were really coming to their height. And so it was a very easy way to say, hey, listen, Ted Turner wanted to change the face of how women were perceived in wrestling. And I love him to this day for this. So, how it was sold to us is that they want to do something new with women in wrestling that isn't just about a woman being arm candy or having to get in the ring and wrestle. And so we are a family show, and we want, the vision is to have little girls, little itty bitty girls, all the way up to moms and the husbands and the sons. The entire family can sit around the television. So there has to be something for everyone, was the vision. And, Spice Girls were really hot. If we go back even probably 5 years before that, J-Lo helped to make the Fly Girls really popular. So on that show In Living Color. So this concept of girls coming in and dancing, being personas and personalities, and the Spice Girls were like these kind of larger than life. And they said, hey, wrestling is larger than life. So you have to come in, we have to each be very unique, very different, and we have to have like a definable place in this space, because they're like, as soon as they see us dancing, they're going to think it's a gimmick, and they're going to be waiting for us to, like, all of a sudden, who's the baby faces, who are the heels, who's going to drop an elbow on who, and they're going to think we're going to start fighting immediately. And they're like, and that's not what's going to happen with this group ever. We are there literally to unify, to be family friendly, and to really give little girls a way to feel good about that they could have a place in this genre as well. So that's how it was sold. And we're like 100% could see it so clearly and easily. It was a no-brainer. It was exciting and wonderful. And, we were just thrilled to be able to bring it to life, the vision. Yeah.
So, how did the name your name Spice come about? Was that in tribute or an homage to the Spice Girls then, or just spicing it up with the hair?
It actually wasn't, because for interesting, I didn't know what to call myself. Like we all were like, what do we name ourselves? And so this kind of idea of delving into personas, how do we want to show up, and just like my style of how I always dance. I always dance just tons of personality, very sassy, very playful, very, and I feel like maybe it was one of the girls that had maybe said something like about spice. And my hair, when I first got it done, it was kind of a cinnamony, spicy color. And so it just kind
Mm,
of was not some deep, like, oh, it was kind of like, oh, that seems to make sense. But it actually really fit. It just, I'm like, well, it's actually kind of who I am, sugar and spice and everything nice, right? Like a little sass, a little
mm.
sweet. That's who I am. I'm Gemini. I always tell everybody. So it actually was very true to form. Yeah.
So when I almost said Spice Girls. That would
I
have
know.
been short and
I
sweet.
know.
When the Nitro Girls came to be, and
Yeah.
you laid out the concept initially, did you think that management from the network, Mr. Turner, whoever, had big plans for the Nitro Girls? Because I read at one point that there was even a spin-off dedicated show considered for TNT. Is that your understanding?
Man, you've got more insight than I do. No, that's never how it was billed to us. As within any organization, pretty quickly it was like, you're all replaceable. So you're here to do a job. Get out there and do a job kind of thing.